school because I wanted to. I saw where the real problem was. And the real problem was in the children, making sure they've been ministered to and receive what they need so that they can carry on what God has for us to do.
Amen.
And I found that most of them don't want anybody to tell them. They don't want to tell them. You tell them, and I have to tell them every day because I go to the school every day because I look for opportunity to minister to them. Our children they are just being lost. Every time you look around, it's another one going to the grave. So another one has lost his way. And I asked God, I asked him, I said, Lord, I want to build a school. Now that you've allowed me to build a church, I want to build a school. And I want to embrace all of the church. Be careful what you ask me. I said, Lord, I want to build a school, and I want children, I want them from K through 12.
That's right.
And in a little while, first I thought it, and I spoke it. And the next thing, it came to pass. Yeah. That's just the way God is. Yeah. That's just the way. Didn't want any of it for my sake, but I saw need, and I wanted to help it. And the Lord gave it to me. Then I said, now Lord, you know what else? You can't have a school without having somewhere for them to play. They got to get that ball in there. Got to have hoops. So I said, Lord, I want to build a sports center. Next thing I knew, I thought it, I spoke it, and there it was.
Yes. Hallelujah.
But in the meanwhile, I was doing what I was supposed to do toward God because I kept up in the book.
Yes.
To find out, see, I'm a female Josiah. I read the book. And I found out that much of what was going on was not what God wanted us to do. And I said, well, how in the world did we get off like this? How did we get away from the things of God? And the Lord just simply spoke to my heart. He said, people coming up with their own agendas. Coming up with things that they don't know, won't read, and make up stuff. And so I'm like, oh my God, we got to get this thing straight. Because we have lost generations. Not just one, we've lost generations of people doing our stuff. But I made up in my mind in 73 when the Lord called me into the ministry. See, I want to take this time to say this to you because I don't want you to think I'm a Johnny come back night, Johnny back night. You know, I don't want you to think I just emerged. In 73, before some of you were born, the Lord called me. And it wasn't easy. Because, first of all, I'm here in the deep South, a black woman, and you didn't have nobody to help you, to show you the way. But I knew he had called. I knew that he had called. And so I said, Lord, you show me what to do. And I said, well, without anybody, I'll just do it. I'll just do it. And that's what I did. And you know what? I love women now because my greatest criticisms came from women. Women fought me eyeball, neck, and tooth. Everything they could fight with, they fought me. And every now and then a brother would come along. He would give me an encouraging word. Say, sister, I don't care what they say about you or what they tell you. You just do what God told you to do. And I didn't have no better sense than to do it. I just went ahead. I said, Lord, you're going to have to show me. You're going to have to show me what to do. Show me how to do it. And so I was in my home. I'm saying this for consolation to somebody here. Somebody that think you can't do it. I was in my home, and I had an extra room downstairs. I had a basement. And I said, I know what I'm going to do. Now here I am, going to try to start a Bible study. I didn't know nothing about the Bible myself. I really didn't. And I wanted, but I had a desire. I wanted to know, you know. And it was so amazing that when the hunger welted up in me to do the things that God would have us do, I went in my church one morning, and the Lord, the Spirit of the Lord, spoke to me. And he told me, he said, go home. I'm saying to myself, I just left home. He said, go home. And I went home, and when I did get there, making a very long story short, I got to my front door, and I heard the Lord say, come on down. Calling me down in the basement. I went on down, and when I got down there, much to my surprise, this woman that knew nothing about, I didn't know nothing about that, but it wasn't because I didn't go to church. I had been going to church all my life. My mother insisted. She saw to it that we went to church. But I didn't have no knowledge.
Yes,
of God.
Yes, that's right.
And that particular day, as I walked down in my basement, the Spirit of God threw me right on down. And I fell on my knees. And I went to crying out to him. Because you know when you want something, you call on the one you need, you want to give it to you. That's what I did. I didn't go to nobody else. I went down on my knees and I began to talk to God. And I asked him, I didn't always know what to say to him. I asked him to save me. I said, come into my heart and save me so I can have an understanding about what all this is about. And as I got down on my face and began to call on him and ask him to come into my heart, I just yielded me over to him. I didn't know. Now they tell you everything to do. I just yielded myself over to him. And as I yielded myself to him, my God, that day, when I got up off of my knees, I was, and I went to saying some things to him that I said, I'm not going to tell anybody what you did for me today, what you did. I'm not going to tell us all. And I just kept on going. I didn't know what was trying to.
Come on. Jesus.
I went upstairs, and just as I walked up my steps, I had a mirror right there on the wall, and I looked at me. I said, uh-oh. I'm different.
Hallelujah. Praise the Lamb.
Oh my God. I knew something had taken place in my heart. I knew I wasn't the same anymore. I didn't. When I got up, somebody had called me to speak that day. And I was, after that happened, I said, now what in the world was I going to tell these people? Because I didn't know. It was such a newness, a refreshing that came into my heart. And I knew without a shadow of doubt that Christ had come into my heart. And then the next thing I knew, see, nobody didn't teach me how to speak. Hallelujah. They didn't take me off somewhere and said, come on, say it. Come on, say it. When he came in, everything that I needed came in also. And I said, Lord, thank you. That's the first thing I want to do. Did nobody